Okay, we're with Rick and Apache. And with Arai helmets, and we're going to talk about the Corsair-V. And we're going to be looking at a solid version of this helmet. Some of the people on the website commented earlier they're confused by the architecture of the helmet, why it was a solid color. So why are we looking at a solid helmet?
The reason we do the solid is because that is the only way we can show you all of the things that have changed on the helmet. If you try to do it on a helmet with a pattern, obviously a lot of those changes can't be seen because they're masked by the graphics.
So we're looking at the solid colored ones, and then we were looking at some graphics ones just so you know that they are available in different graphic packages. This one was the...
this is the new Danny Pedrosa replica. Of course, the Hopper Monster. The Haze, which is the hottest selling graphic that Arai has. Now it's a matte finish. This year. The Haze Jolly Roger is matte.
So you can go and buy an Arai helmet in matte finish and don't have to go buy a cheap fake Chinese helmet with a matte finish.
This is another matte. This is an Okada replica. And this, at least in the consumer shows, this is the helmet that's drawing the most interest. This is the new Randy replica for Randy Momola. It's in blue, it's in red, and it's in yellow. And at the consumer shows, the IMS shows, this is absolutely the helmet that's attracting the most consumer interest.
Okay, so let's talk about the helmet. What's new and special in this helmet?
The first thing that we have to address, because it's what people are asking us, is, gee, it doesn't look that different than a Corsair. It doesn't. It's not supposed to, because you have to understand Mr. Arai's philosophy. Simple, and I've heard him say this often enough. A helmet's job has not changed. So, therefore, unless the changes you are making improve the helmet's ability to protect the rider or to make them more comfortable, you don't do the change. You don't put material in your shell that is good for stopping bullets or making lightweight fenders, but isn't necessarily the best for a helmet shell. So this helmet, like other Arais, are evolutionary rather than revolutionary. But what that means is, while it may look the same, there are a world of differences between this and the RX-7 Corsair. First of all, the fiber, the filaments in the super fiber are the finest filaments Arai has been yet to make. They actually make the shell 10% stronger than the Corsair. Okay. The next biggest structural change is a peripheral belt that's been added, a reinforcing belt across the forehead, which reinforces, because this is your biggest impact area in a motorcycle helmet. And if I may digress, that is also the reason why Arai, just by Mr. Arai's philosophy, does not put holes in the shell, vents in the shell. His feeling is that he does not want more holes above the largest hole. That's why Arai uses brow vents. What this did, this belt made this frontal part of the shell so much stronger that it allowed us to widen the eye ports. So the eye port is actually 5% wider on each side. It's 10% wider to really enhance peripheral vision. The diffuser is the new Type 10 diffuser. It has an opening in the middle as well, which differentiates it. Arai has also added a wing this year, which is 5-position to change up and down in 5 positions, depending on whether you're riding upright or in a tuck. It is adjustable by hand. So you push forward, you can lower it or raise it up. Okay, so you get airflow and stability. One of the other things that aided that, when we talk about stability, is that we have an outward flaring hyper ridge now. Consumers had complained that because the Arai shell curved in, it was more difficult to get on. So what we did was we widened the opening, and it's an outward flaring ridge, but notice how the ridge, where you can see this on a solid helmet, see how the ridge goes all the way across the bottom. This is something else that we think is special about Arai. The safety standards don't test this far down on a helmet shelf. They stop further up. Many manufacturers, because it's not tested, thin the material from here down. Arai actually makes it stronger. The reason being, that's why an Arai feels so light on your head, because the center of this lowers the center of gravity. So actually you're feeling, you can have, you're not feeling the weight of the helmet because it's being carried lower. You can actually wear a helmet that is lighter than this, that feels more and rolls around more on your head because the weight is carried up top. The biggest improvement that this made in this helmet was, by doing this, the test riders found that coming into the straightaway and under braking for a turn and popping up into the airflow, were coming back and saying they could not believe how stable the helmet had become.
Tell me more about the helmet. This is good because Rick knows a lot about helmets. In case you haven't noticed, he knows more about helmets than I do. And there's a lot of people who are wondering about the different shapes of the helmets and the wings and the things that are added on there. I mean, these may benefit the everyday rider, but obviously a lot of these are directed towards racing and Arai's participation in motorcycle racing, which is what we're here to talk about as well.
When Arai created the diffuser that's copied so much now, where this came from, a lot of people don't realize where this came from. It came from Arai's also, like the belt, from Arai's Formula One involvement. Most riders don't realize that Arai is also the dominant helmet on the Formula One grid. It's one thing to have the technology to build a good motorcycle helmet, but when more than half the drivers on the Formula One grid wear your helmet, that's saying something about your technology too. What that taught us and why we use the diffuser, you and your viewers can discover this for yourselves. Go out on a cool morning, close all the front vents. Or open the front vents, let the air come in. Now stop, close the front vents, open just the rear vent. You'll be amazed at how much more air you will feel flowing through your helmet. Because with Formula One, what Arai discovered was the best way to clear a helmet of stale inside air and ventilate it is to pull the stale air out, not push more air in.
All right. Okay, so for the helmet now, I wanted to buy this helmet. How much would it cost for a solid color?
Based on the current dollar-yen valuation, we have to add that that's what drives the price, the value of the dollar against the yen. The solids are $749, the replicas are $899.
Okay. All right. Well, so there it is. That's the new Arai Corsair-V. And it's available in many things other than solid. People are concerned about that. So thank you very much, Ray. Far more about helmets than I ever will.
Thanks, Albert.
Okay, thanks.